And get everyone, Calvin here, Shearing Sheep New Zealand. It's ram buying, ram selling season, and I'm going to help a few people look through and understand some of the numbers that we see in these catalogues. I've got quite a few catalogues on my screen at the moment. The Overton one with there's the internals of his one, and that's quite nicely laid out. We've got the Mount Cass ones here. Oh, that's Pivot Design, which I went and got the catalogues from. Sometimes they don't always get put on the Facebook pages straight away. Mill Valley already had their auction. So I could probably pretty safely use some of their data because it's not going to affect people's buying decisions. Stony Brook's real cool. She's got a nice catalogue, look, nice photos, beautiful. E-Sheep, it's Kate's. We've got Iparua, and I've got Kahoo Genetics. So I've got a range of catalogues here that I'm going to use. The South Island guys are just sort of starting. They're often a little bit later into the new year. Got that Mount Cass one there. And we'll learn about some of the basic data that we've got on the screen. I'm going to use Stony Brook. Really nice catalogue. Look at the lovely photos. Very small flock. Gets a hard time on sill because she's new. And so needing to understand too, these indexes that are produced are quite specific to that flock. And unless the flock is very well ranked, unless the flock is very well linked and benchmarked across other flocks, then it's not a good idea to compare those figures. If you find someone's got incredibly high figures and against someone who's got incredibly low figures, there might be some ability, but they're probably closer together than the sill numbers will have. But if you're right in the zone and they're close and close, they could actually be further away or closer together than the numbers actually say so. We try not to compare some of that stuff too close. A better way is actually to look at the average ranking within that flock, or the average index within that flock, and then choose animals higher or lower than that point that suits you. And I can show you on Improve how to then go through and choose the animals that are the best animals for your application. We're going to learn about these numbers though. Maternal worth plus meat rank. Now, Stony Brook have chosen to rank all of these, and whilst I don't like that in most cases, I think it's an incredibly good idea for such a small flock to have the rankings. I would actually prefer a ranking and an index number. That's how I would like it. But in this case, as I said, ranking makes a lot more sense because she's got 17 animals for sale. And I also refer quite a lot of people who've got lifestyle blocks to Charlotte because she does do a few ram lambs, and they're going to be a lot better quality than the average lifestyle ram lamb. So we've got MW plus M, that is maternal worth plus meat ranking. He's top on that. DPCR. Now, DP stands for dual purpose. It goes back to the days when we had meat and wool. I kind of cross it over now that it's meat and maternal instinct, so it's still kind of dual purpose. That U has to be self-replacing, but that was where it comes from. C is for capped. They limited their index because their numbers were getting way out of hand, so it's a capped index. And R is for reproduction. We have DP, dual purpose, survival. And I'm just going to go on that last letter now. Growth, G for growth, M for meat. Now down here we actually have some raw data. Now we have to be very careful with raw data. Breeding values are better, but there can be some benefits to raw data. But if we don't understand what's going on, say, for example, if you have a really hard year, you wean lambs and they lose weight to the second weighing, people will go, hey, that's bad. But there could have been mitigating circumstances around that weight loss that kind of makes sense. The whole farm may have suffered a massive worm challenge. All those things need to be taken into account. Therefore, a BV, breeding value, is better. Weaning weight, live weight 8, live weight 12. Shed, and that's a shed at weaning. And I think you'll find in this particular case, she's very high on her shedding ability of her sheep. And I've seen plenty of photos and lovely shedding. then you've got a shed month. Now, another thing you've also got in the beginning of the catalogue, there is an explanation of some of the stuff, and so that is also helpful to read through. But we've got a Carla, so that's a Carla test, and then a foot score. Now, to confirm that you are doing it right, there is some really good stuff here to read through, and it gets a little bit familiar with the catalogues. They're often made in the same platform, but it's nice to read that to see what they're actually talking about. And it works on when the scoring is done, and that is really important, the time that it is done. There is one over here, and I'll just find it at the Mount Cass one. If we flick through, we've got in here, we've got some indexes, but we've got the shedding score. You see there it's got a 6 and an 8 and a 9 and an 8. And people might go, well, I don't want a 6. In this particular case, it was done at weaning. If we go again into the catalogue, it says down through here, shedding score was taken the 8th of December 2023. So the lambs were only just weaned. And it also says birth rank will affect shedding, which is correct. The nutrition, all these sorts of things. And then it says that they often catch up by 6 months. So it's important that we don't hammer them because it's a shedding score 6. If it's got other qualities that you want, okay. And I like the fact that their shedding scores have a range of numbers. We see a lot of ram sellers that sell all 10s because they're all a 10, they all shed. They all still should shed anyway, but that range of numbers would be nice to actually see that proper range. And ideally, you would actually see from 1, or go 1 to 9 or 1 to 10 to show that it's been done at the correct time. Still a full shedder though, so that becomes a bit tricky when people are trying to buy these rams and understand what's going on. Mr. Arvidsson does something different. He has a molt month. So full shed, but the month that it sheds, so you can choose earlier or later, again based on whether that's something you're willing to compromise or you have to have that early shedder. Going back to Cass, let's see if we can do it. Flick some pages, there we go. Now in here, we've got a weaning weight in kgs. Last year they had that live weight 8, and they had some that lost weight. I don't know what went on the farm, so I can't comment whether that's good or bad, but people made assumptions and it affected their sales or their purchasing decisions. We don't make assumptions. We need to talk to the seller, talk about why, what's gone on, so we are properly informed. Again, we've got the reproduction, the growth, the survival, the meat, and that shed score. What I don't like about this is there's no overall score. Okay, and that's the same thing with Charlotte. So I would actually like an overall ranking. If we go, we'll find Charlotte, shall we? Should be here. There is not an overall ranking of each of the animals. Now, my ranking may be different to your ranking, and that could be a reason why. I went through and I used improve, and I'll do another video of that, and I chose that ram as sort of one of my top picks. He's down on the survival, but you can see he's ranked very high across the rest of the features that I'm normally looking for, which you don't know what I'm looking for because I haven't told you. But this one, Mount Cass, bigger breeder, I would have to add them up to find the numbers that I want. So I've got reproduction, growth, survival, and meat. There's something else that's missing in here. We will find it in Mr. Arvidsson's. No, we won't, because he hasn't got it either. Damn. We'll go over to Kate's. Lovely explanation. I need to blow that up a little bit because I'm having trouble seeing it. There we go. Right. Lots of nice stuff, but it's not seeing the thing I wanted. I'll come back to that. Survival, growth. F is the resistance to parasites. M is a meat. C is for colour. it's interesting having both in there. But if we look over here, CF, internal resistance, internal parasite resistance. And again, so I've just found I've got a DPF and a DPC. I didn't know that Kate was doing both of those. So before I jump to conclusions, I will probably be best to talk to her about what's going on there. But I suspect she might be doing both there. And so in this one, we've got a rank and we've got an index. And that ranking is across her flock, not across all the animals. It's across her flock. We've got a weaning weight, live weight 8, eye muscle area. Give me a moment. Skin thickness, there's a little bit about that in the beginning, and the live weight 12. Again, I would rather see those as an index, a weaning weight index, or survival indexes as well. Live weight 8 index or breeding values, I think would be more valuable. But there are some people who still like to see that raw value. I'd be fine with both, but often raw data can be given, you can jump to the wrong conclusions. We've got birth rank here, which is important, the animal ID, all that stuff is important. But no overall ranking for each animal. No maternal worth, no index. One index I really like is survival growth. Oh, it's not on this one. Survival growth, meat, reproduction. There's no reproduction index in this one either. Okay. Jumping to the next one. We're jumping around a bit. Perua, Fossey, and Anna. See what they got in here. Great story and lots of good information. There's some sill information. Again, there's the going through what's in there. They've got something else that's extra, and I think that's driven by Anna. I don't know if Perua will have it in theirs, but they're adult size. And we got maternal worth, less wool, excluding wool, plus eczema. And I think that's a great index. Maternal worth, less wool, plus eczema, plus meat. So no wool with eczema, with meat. I would actually like maternal worth. Yep, get rid of the wool, that's fine. But just meat. Not because I don't value eczema, but I would like to see that as a value. I often make my own. Again, I use reproduction, growth, survival, and meat. I put those 4 in. And then I will make an adjustment for that one, adult size. Now that's going to be a negative in many cases. A bigger animal will give a bigger negative score for that particular index. If you're trying to find big animals, then go for the greatest negative. If you're trying to find smaller animals, find the smallest negative that you can. We've also got a worm resistance here and a resilience. Now that's a really interesting one, and I might try and talk to Anna on the day because I'm going to their auction. So going through, made it big in this one. We'll bring it back out now. Sire, dam, good. Indexes and a ranking. We're on a winner. Index and a ranking. We know what the indexes were explained. Reproduction, survival, growth, meat, eczema, X for eczema, and the fecal egg count, the worm resistance. So look at that. Great catalogue. And is that it's a Perua? You can see the sires. Lovely. That's really cool. Now if I flick over, I'll try and find, oh, there's a Waterfields. We'll go back to that one. Waterfields, we've got a whole lot plus that resilience and the colour. So we've got a lot of testing in there. We've also got whether they're FE dosed, whether they've got the Myomax. So they're really pulling off a great catalogue for information there. I like it. Really cool. Right. Murray's one. We're going to try. Oh, do I have to scroll down? I have to scroll. Now, I really do like the index too, but I would also like to see it with the other way, with a tag to the lot number, so it makes it easier to find the animals in the catalogue. Now, Murray has a little bit about the hoof scoring, what he's done, it's explained, the shedding, all those things are good, and I do recommend people read that. And then we've got these stud rams, where they've got index numbers. Now, the Meatex mat, in this case, it is explained, is the maternal index plus meat. I like that. I like those numbers. It's nice to see. But then we go down into the actual rams. We'll go that first pen. Lot number, the sire, good, dam, and there's this trace here. So that's the ewe, and that's the lambs that she's had. So that second two, I get that out there. That second two there will be this particular ram, and he was 2 of 2. There's actually, you could put in another one, because that ewe may or may not be in the flock, and it'd be really nice to have this current lambing season included as well. It's a lot of work, but it'd be really nice to see. Now, Murray has not got any indexes. You know how I said it was okay with Charlotte's? Murray's chosen to do the same thing. You know, I'm not actually a fan. I get on well with him. I've told him that. I like the proper numbers. My own catalogue, it's got the numbers in it. I put them in myself. But in saying that, this is a very simple way for a lot of people to look at the rams and to try and understand. So if you were trying to understand these numbers and what they mean and how it works and how they work together, this is actually the simplest way. I'll admit that. The guy's been doing it a long time, so I will concede that this is a very simple way and it's good for the buyers, providing they understand. Right. Maternal worth plus meat. That's good. I like that. Reproduction. And this is the ranking of these animals in this flock. Survival, growth, adult size. I like the adult size because it allows me to make decisions, and that's often factored in to this ranking. Okay, so they're getting a penalty for that, and that's what people often miss. So sometimes you can look at 2 rams, and if you adjust for the adult size, you may find one may be better or worse than the other, or more suitable to you if you don't mind a bigger animal. Colour, eczema tolerance, shed score, and feet. Okay, so again, that's explained at the beginning. Again, this one, so in the adult size, the biggest ram will be a 90, and the smallest ram will be a 1. Okay, you can see here, if you look carefully, these 2 are brothers. Same ewe, same ram, got the sire. You can use those to your advantage. If you see some sires that are constantly in that auction, you can buy to the sire, because you know you put a lot of rams into that auction. We are going to see more of these catalogues. I'll go into in a bit more depth, but the thing I really wanted to get through today, we'll go to an Arvidsson one, was that meat, growth, survival, adult size, reproduction, what those ones. Forget the DP, that just confuses it. We'll have a little look at David's one here while we're here. Now, he's just started on the meat scanning, on the muscle scanning. So if you went and took his score and you compared it to another flock that's been doing it a lot, you might be disappointed, but it's because he doesn't have that backing of data yet. But you look at him, he just blows everyone away for eczema. Now, is he that much better? Well, he's definitely better. But is he a lot better? There's probably some people who are creeping up on him, but he's definitely, well, I would consider that the eczema scoring for David is very good, and his accuracy of data is very good. probably on a note of that is, if you really want to know more information, you can request a spreadsheet of these animals, and in most cases they will have that available. I've looked at Kate's, I've looked at David's, and there's a lot of information. But if you're good with Excel, you can order it and find animals really quick. I also use the Improve. I've got an Improve up here somewhere. There's the Improve. I use Improve to find the rams as well, so, and then to order them. Personally, I look for very balanced results. I'm looking for very even types of rams, and with no really high and no really low numbers, and that's my preference. And so you're often not fighting against that guy next to you. He might be buying a different ram or having different criteria. But we really want to remember the last digit, the last letter. R, reproduction. M for meat. S for survival. F for that's the worm resistance. It was for fecal egg count, so that's why it's got the F. X for eczema. G for growth, if I haven't already said it. Hope that's been helpful. If you've got questions, if you want me to cover an aspect of this, look at some certain characteristics, if you want me to go into any of these catalogues, I'm willing to do that and have a look through and compare back to Improve. Hope that's been helpful. We'll talk to you again soon.